If you want to come, welcome to the hall. If you want to enter, you can. If you don't want to, you can stay outside. It's a choice. But you can... no. This is part of the game. You create the traces of the void. Oh. Wow. Yes. If you want to be here, you can be here also. It's a choice. Okay, so welcome to my project about meeting the void and meeting the void in Cataract. These few months has been a lot of writings, as you can see. What you see on the floor is all the data, all the collectibles of all the writing I've done in Cataract, in the place, spending hours and hours trying to catch up with the void. And with all of these writings, I'll try to meet the void as a person. The void is usually in architecture, the blank space, the white on the plan in architecture, and here in a place and a moment where I want to acknowledge the fact that the void is also the dust, it's also the light, and it's something that we cannot always touch but exists. And so this is a moment where I'll just try to meet the void as a person. And so if you want to now sit down, I'm trying to present to you my project. If you also want to lay down completely, you can close your eyes, don't close your eyes. It's up to you. Just be comfortable and okay, and just take time to listen and be calm. Thank you. Do you want to sit down? Le vide. Décrire le vide. Le sentir, le ressentir. Void. The story I share with you is personal. More to that, it is me. But I am welcoming you in it, the same way the void did it with me. And perhaps, under my light, you will find a little of yourself, a little of your past, your present, your thoughts, or nothing at all. The void, the emptiness of a space that surrounds us, entities in the void, object in the void, humans in the void. What is the difference? Meeting in the void, with the void, through the void, thanks to the void, mixed with the void. The void emerged to me in both the water flowing under the bridge and the air gap between the water and the bridge being built, no matter how large or inexistent. The void sprung up while I was seeing sunlight through the branches and leaves of a tree. It did the same while seeing sunlight through a network of windows in a building's open space. The void isn't looking at you like paying attention, noticing what exists but we cannot see, seeing through. It's talking to the void about recognizing the small, unimportant things in our daily lives. Do calm and tranquility mold you, the void? Can you appear in the gentle tossing of the waves, diving into the void, diving into the waves, diving into our souls? Can I observe you by simply being slower than the rest of the world? By simply being disconnected from what is surrounding me? Not understanding, not thinking, not being in connection with where my body is. Does the void hold on our breathing space, inhaling and exhaling, breathing between the word I write, between the word I speak, right here, now, today, the sound I make? Do the vibration you hear inhabit the space where we are? The void fills and refills, then empties. Can I be in so much contact with the void that the void becomes physical? The void is personified with my words, with my writings, with my saying. Weight of my own body, weight of my own perspective. I tried to look in the night sky to find you. I was searching in between the buildings. I was searching in between the stars, in between the songs in my ears, in between the people moving around me while I'm completely still. I will be searching in between. You are always the in-between whatever space. You are the in-between place. You are the in-between moment. You are the in-between time. You are in between everything that exists. Void. You are there and nowhere and everywhere. You are in everything and you are in nothing. People say that you are not existing, but you do. At least for me, you exist. I found the void one day. She was sitting there on a bench. I sat next to her. She took me in her arms. I felt welcomed, beloved even. I tried to hug her, every part, with all my body, stretching to welcome her, the void, the unknown, the other, the stranger, the night. But I am not afraid. I am never alone in those moments. I am never lonely in those places. In fact, you are never alone with the void. You are always supported. Supported by the void is in fact being supported by something. I can talk with her, cry with her, because she will follow me everywhere. She will see everything. The void. You are an informed matter that I could never pin down. Everything is still. On top of that factory that you inhabit, the cloud passing. Something in that red color tells me that you are hiding somewhere in there, your structure. I am sure now I saw you there. In the reflection of the factory, in the blurring water, it is cut in thousands of tiny particles carried by the wind, delicate stripes running all the way to my shore, the fog merging in the reflection. As I close my eyes, the sun peps through. Void. I am seeing you now, crawling from one place to another, swimming to my shore. To me, you inhabit the waves. Void. You touch me with the cold. You are hugging me with the wind. You took my feet and legs. Then slowly, almost viciously, you came near my chest. You pressed coldly my heart. You pushed everything out to be comfortable. You took space there. You created your little cocoon, then you invaded my eyes. At the same time, you came for my ears. I was slowly merging into you, into the void. I was welcomed into your lair. I melted. The void took over me, my mind faded. The void became my mind. I was filled of the void. I tried to fight the void. I tried again and again, endlessly, to fight him, to fight her. The void in the single tear of my right eye, the void in my skin that absorbed a part of that tear, the void in the wind that dries that tear. A fresh new tear caught my right cheek and finally fell to the ground. This little drop filled with the void, with my void. It is alive. This void left to join all the water in the canal ahead, sharing with them all my memories of that first original tear. Soon it will be shared all across the water of Rotterdam and the North Sea, and will join eventually the ocean. It will create the clouds and rain that will fall on my face one long September day. The memories will all have been shared, multiplied, mixed with others. The memories will no longer belong to me. The void will thus come back to say hi, to make me understand that he will keep my memories, my secrets. My tear will join all other human and non-human tears in the ocean in front of me, around me. The ocean current carrying all my void, slowly away, without failing. The void is the water, moving, flowing, never still. Void in the waters, void in the waves. Calm, delicacy, mirror, waves, white, blues and dark, qui se confondent avec le ciel. Soleil and sky, the clouds qui se décalent et bougent. Something about the past seems to be in the water forever. Past of the movement that happened and will happen because it is already away. She internalized our daily lives, the repetition of gesture, the void treasure in the laughter of the vibration of the air around us. She keeps the cries of despair of the night and the prayer of the dawn. The void in the water, the void houses our memories and souls, happy and dark. This water does not have clarity. She holds a lot of memory within her. She cannot wash herself and go clearer because of all the shifting that happened to her. This micro drop de vide in the ocean of void. Le vide se vide, the void mixes with the void. L'eau dans l'eau se réunissent. The void dans l'eau, le vide in the water, mixing qui se mélange again and again. Le vide devient the void and the void becomes le vide. Remaining in the void tout en restant le vide. One entity qui est plusieurs. Il y a multiple void, there are infinite, mais ils se réunissent en un seul mot, void. Le vide et l'eau, void and water, dancing together depuis toujours, and we can discover the waves, les vagues, this infinite movement. Water and void are never consumed, they change and are exchanged. Dialogue infinite entre deux entities mixed and indissociables. Le vide est in the waters, in between the waves, inside the waves, avec tout ce que l'océan transporte. Le void inhabits the waters, the void occurs in the reflection of the sun on his surface, in the shadows of his moving form, ces vagues, the waves of the ocean stretching to the horizon, toutes uniques, void in the arabesque of the waters, this infinite dance of the waves. The void is the intersection of each undulation in the river in front of me. The void is the wave itself. The void nests in the small waves in between these few drops, always in between. À l'infini, le void moves, s'adapte, se transforme. Le void est un mutant, a shapeshifter. Void and water, malleable to all intervention, to all forces. She takes the shape of my body. I cuddle myself inside and take my place there. And then, when the void took possession of my mind, my spirit, mon esprit, I inhabit the void of the ocean. I dwelt in the void of the ocean. I took the place of the void by inhabiting the water, my body merging into the water. I am not drowning, I am floating in the middle, in the in-between. I am becoming the in-between space, the in-between place, the in-between moment. I am the water, I am the void, I am the void, I am the void. Thank you. Thank you for listening. If you have questions, I'm here.
So what you have here is what you're going to
Yes. And the writing here is everything I collected on site. And with the thing on site, I created this text.
What did you collect?
Me writing words. I had just had my notebook with me all the time. I just spent hours there. And this text is the meeting with the void.
Can you talk about writing on this fabric?
It was a long time. It took a lot of time. I don't know what is your specific question. I wrote with charcoal because for me it was important that the void is becoming more and more to nothing. It also leaves traces, and so it's also why I'm wearing this. Also, I carry the void with me in a way. So I don't know.
And why the shape?
It came as something. I don't know really. I didn't question it. It just because also I feel like the circle is something that is a kind of repetition, but it's also not a circle, it's a spiral. So it's something that could continue again and again.
So how did you choose to stop?
This topic?
To stop. choose when to stop?
When I became the void.
Is there anything that you left out? Like,
No.
so.
This writing is both in French and English. Everything that is in French is translated to English, but not the other way around, because sometimes I wrote in French and sometimes in English, and all the things in French I translated it.
But there might be some different.
And yeah, of course, there is some void in the translation.
Yeah. So everything was written, there wasn't anything written off-site, or was there?
Everything was wrote on site, and after I rewrote after. But,
So I saw in the midterm, and the project is both extremely disciplined, because I know how many hours it took to write this, not only in the text but also in the circle that we see here, but also extremely abstract in trying to embody and materialize the void as something both extremely intimate and extremely global and planetary. What specifically about Cotton Black as a starting point attracted you to the void?
I can't really explain it. It came to me really the first moment I arrived in this place. I wanted to talk about the in-between spaces and the void as something that is in between. Also, it's linked to leaving the traces and the memories that is in this place. And through writing, I felt it was a nice way to put it, because this is like the physicality of the void, and my speech is the non-physical. So I just try to connect everything.
I mean, unless I missed other things in your text or in your verbal pronunciation of it, is that I think you only once mentioned Rotterdam.
Yeah.
Is that true? So that suddenly.
Not really,
No?
because I talk also about factory. Yeah, there is. When you don't know it, it's not really meant to be that connected. But I wrote everything on site, and so in a way, the words I choose are inhabited by the place.
Okay, I have just a second. Being that this is the first 3 months of your graduate studies here, how do you feel about sort of entering this type of methodology in this kind of project? Because it seems like you really sort of challenge yourself in many ways. Maybe you don't want to answer it, it's fine. But I think it's also really brave of you, right, to sort of take this on.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I mean, maybe because I know your previous work and how you use it. So I think it definitely feels that there's sort of this transitional freedom in a way.
I don't know where I'm going after. Not gonna lie. But I feel like talking about the void is something that still existed previously.
Okay.
I'm always interested in the things that we don't see in general, and the invisibility of the word. So I just felt it was a good way to put that in a project.
Could you tell us more about how you came to, like maybe everyone else already knows this, but how you came to the end where you are now with the fabric and with the, meaning like what made you want to make this large text, and what was the kind of process that led to this installation?
I started, since the beginning I had for the design project the text, non-physical, just the speech. And for the it was searching a way to approach the void in a physical way. And so through writing, it was, I spent I've been experimenting with how to write, and I felt like this spiral was something that spoke to the void in a way, and was a good way to present the void as something that is in a way never ending and could continue again and again, expand, and so layers and layers of void seems to be a good way to give physicality to the void.
Yeah, and also all this extra.
We could continue.
Yeah,
I guess.
and also.
If I had a year, I would continue expand all the way through.
You say something about, you say that you stay at Katendrecht, that you write there. Did you stay in one spot, or?
I think the first month I moved from places to places, and after I had my little spots. There is like 2 or 3 spaces where I felt comfortable writing, and after I just came to those places. Sometimes I just changed. It just depends on the moment, the mood also.
And also during nighttime?
Yeah.
Or only during?
Yeah, 2 a.m. Really, I spend a lot of hours there.
When did you write the text here?
You mean from Monday to yesterday?
So Monday this was, yeah.
Yeah, I started writing Monday 4-5 p.m. until 11, then yesterday from 8 in the morning to 7 in the night. So a few hours.
So the one that you had in the studio is not this one. This is a new one. That you
The
made
one I
over
had
the
in the studio was the beginning, and I rewrote. So I have everything here.
Thank you. Also, you made something else.
Yes,
Yeah.
sewing is my.
Which actually is pretty great. The question, we've been the question about the site of Katendrecht, and now you're here, and you've been writing about this. I'm wondering if there is a collapse of some sort, or if there is something that comes together here in Katendrecht, and maybe not.
I feel like I have been describing the void in Katendrecht, but the void is not something that has like barriers of the neighborhood, so it's something that exists everywhere. So I did not feel it was a breaking from, because I also wrote in the studio. I wrote in my bed, so it's something that is connected in a way and could move places. I don't know if that was your question.
Yeah, exactly. So there is a continuity.
What do you think you'll do with it now that, just for practical reasons, the term is finished now?
I think I'm going to take a lot of pictures and then I will have to destroy it in a way.
Why?
I don't have the place, the space to.
You can't fold it and keep it archived?
I could, but it's like when it's quite huge.
There we have.
Keep it in the studio, don't you? Or if you want to burn it, and do whatever you want.
No.
Maybe that's part of the ritual.
No burn, definitely not. But maybe I will use the fabric again for other projects. So, yeah.
What I really appreciate is what the material, the chalk you use, because it's now just recently written. But I constantly think, I mean, you're sitting in your archive, literally, you're saying. I think that's beautiful. But I also think about the work of Jeroen Verloon of the ephemeral data. and I'm almost thinking, could I replace the void to the ephemeral? Because that is a kind of non-exist in between, super temporary, and then of course the more technical term, the ephemeral data. But I'm also curious how the data will evolve. I mean, you're already seeing the drips, and they're actually literally. No, but maybe that's super nice. And maybe this is disappearing when it's going wet this evening, and how temporary is this temporary if we walk over? So I'm also super curious what is going to happen with this in the next 2 days.
It was also interesting when you first walked in, just your uniform or whatever you called it was just hanging.
Yeah, it
without
was
your body.
yes.
I didn't know that you were the body. So it was kind of like
I will
a
replace
little bit
it
uncanny, kind
after.
of scary just to see this hanging person body.
But I think especially the disciplinary you have, that's really amazing.
Thank you.
It's so disciplined to do this. I think during the midterms you did a kind of small experiment already, but I think you already start drawing during the multiple media, and I think on the studio we were impressed by you said, oh, this is a small one. And wow, I mean, it really fits into this place. Also, like, it really comes together, I think.
I have two things. One is related to what Olivia was just saying, that like all this stuff that happens because you're doing this work, but it's not your decisions to make, like the trace of this. Now that I understand, you have actually been writing here. Have you been writing here since then?
Yes. Yeah.
So the traces of the tiles and the traces of the carbon, what you're writing in the stanzas. That's super interesting. That's much. I think there is something about the connection. The connection is you. So the connection between everything that you write, how you understand the voice, all of this stuff, and what it has come now is. So there is no chart that can come from there. There's no reference to materials like you say. That makes me wonder. So that makes me more interested in the stuff that is happening to the installation because of this space, and I wonder what would it be if you did this work with the other space. I mean, I also understand maybe like arguable. You can say like the traces of the other spaces and the stuff that I wrote. So, but I think there is something about trying to fill it or like make this link to the site, to the space that you write about.
I'm sorry, I'm disturbed.
I think it's also a bigger question. So it's a question of like when you do projects like this, like performative, or do work with your body, or like what you show is a trace of something that has happened before, then these questions are like, these are not questions that are only here because you did this, but questions that
Yes.
also maybe methodological questions, but I wonder what it would have been if you did, what would it look like if this gap was to be filled somehow? Something's to be made here.
Yeah. In a magical place, I would have done the writing directly on site, not in a fabric, and clearly in cataract. There is a lot of places where it's just no buildings and open spaces, and so I would definitely go there and write with chalk or charcoals, depending on the space, the materiality of the soil, the ground.
I also want to acknowledge that what you're describing is a different thing. So it would be a different project for you to perform in Cathedral, for us to sit around you and then listen to you in a different kind of space. But I mean also like what you said, it doesn't matter. This could have been about this space as well, or like this area of the city as well. So maybe this is a different question about what does it mean to do this work elsewhere? What does it mean to do a work and then that is so site specific in its so many ways and then present it elsewhere? It's a different question. It's a really interesting question. Another thing just really quickly is that I really love the parts where you were referring to things and the water.
It's a bird.
It's a vision.
Walking his legs.
I really like those parts. So that's also a connection. I also really like this idea of like it doesn't have to be, it doesn't matter that it's about cotton gin. It's about areas where spaces change and power dynamics change in a similar way. But those connections that you would float between actually understanding there is water, there is factories, this is like a kind of maybe post-industrial area that I'm hearing about, and then in that context I'm thinking about between that and the very abstract, very performative.
We should invite him.
Slowly wrap up. So, any last comment, and then move on to, I think, Martinez?